Welcome to Pods and Pies. Our pretend sponsor is Pizza by
the Little Caesars.
Little Skeezers, hot and sweaty.
Yes. We knew you wanted kind of a pepperoni.
Classic
pepperoni.
I always think you go classic.
We typically get.
And look at that, you did extra cheese just like
yes.
I like it.
We typically do the pie pizza.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've had the pie.
Sure. Who hasn't?
Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite around. But we kind of have an issue with the pepperoni at the pie.
Oh, really?
And we would love for a sponsor, even though we do kind of bag on the pepperoni because all the other pizzas are amazing. But the pepperoni, they do the bread, the sauce, then the pepperoni, then the cheese. And it's not on top, so
no, it's got to be the crispy edges.
Yes, the crispy edges is kind of soggy underneath, and it slips off even.
Slides, yeah.
It
you take that
worse.
first bite and you pull everything off.
The whole thing kind of comes off.
It just comes off and it's on your
point.
face. And
good point, gentlemen.
So just FYI, when you get the pepperoni,
crust is great.
It is.
Pie has a great crust.
I'll remove that just a little bit.
Sure.
But anyway, but we do have another, this is a little extra I bought. I was feeling hungry, so I did kind of the normal pep.
It's like a garlic
and
cheese,
the little garlic
cheese.
Awesome.
Something or another.
Yeah.
Choices.
Yeah, so we got Tessa White on.
Tessa
Thank
White.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
sorry, Danny.
my first question for you is if you could erase one thing from your memory so that you could relive that.
Relive it over again?
You could relive it over again because it was so phenomenal.
Oh my gosh.
Could you narrow that down?
Wow.
That's a big question to start, I know.
That's kind of, I feel the weight of it already. No, I'll tell you what first came to my mind, and it's not going to be what anybody expects at all, but I'm an avid fly fisherman. Like, I fish 3 times a week. I'm insane.
No way.
So I was in Argentina, and I was throwing, it's called a foam bug, big thing. It's about 3 inches long. Throwing it at dusk in Argentina, and a river-run salmon came up and grabbed it, and the salmon was so big I couldn't carry it. It was, the picture is like, there's only one picture, and it's so old, but it's like this big. So I would relive catching this. It was probably a 10-pound salmon on a 5-weight fly rod. That's what I would relive.
That's an incredible stat.
That's amazing. Yes, and I can appreciate that. I've been fly fishing since I was 12.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
we don't. I will say fly fishing could take over this whole hour if we
totally
wanted to.
could.
Now knowing this
totally
experience, but I will.
My car
refrain.
is filled with my fly stuff.
Yeah,
That's,
I will refrain from the fly fishing stuff. But anyway, we could talk after about fly fishing. And oddly enough, did you know that there's a LinkedIn group called CEOs and Fly Fishermen or something like that in Utah?
I did not know this.
Or business and fly fishing.
Huh.
I don't get in that forum too often, but years ago I kind of added to that. But I have a lot of cool experiences.
Okay, we're gonna have to exchange some stories.
But that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I'm just going to sit and listen.
Yeah.
Told you it wasn't what you expected.
Yeah,
It's not a professional accomplishment or
but
anything.
Danny, I tell you what, Danny, I can tell you, those experiences, I would honestly say that I would love to relive some of that stuff and have it for the first time, or at least know that I've had this before, and want the same exact feelings again, because
it's a rush.
it is a rush.
Yeah.
It's funny. People think it's kind of corny or cheesy about just catching a fish. No, dude, 5-weight, Argentina, foam bug. It's a surface fly, and a fish. Yeah, they attack it. It's amazing.
Exactly, 10 out of 10.
You know what's funny is I'm not a fisherman, but a bucket list item for me is to go to Alaska and just go fish.
Me too. I haven't done Alaska.
But I'm not a fisherman. But for whatever reason, that's
that would
something
be
that
amazing,
I want
wouldn't
to
it?
go and do.
Yeah.
Argentina's on my bucket list.
You should. It needs to be on your bucket list.
Wow. Patagonia, that'd be
It's pretty amazing.
that'd be epic.
So where did Tessa White grow up? Where are you from?
I grew up, this is in a twist of cruel irony. I ended up buying my childhood home in Alpine and remodeling it from the ground up. And it's ironic because I always told my parents I was going to live in another country. Like I was the gal that was going to be as far away from home as possible. And my early career in HR, I worked for United Health Group, and they asked me to go move to India to be an HR person, and I was going to do that.
India.
India.
Yeah.
just because I love adventure and I love seeing new countries, new
What
places.
do they have in India? Sorry.
I just
Like
India.
call center?
They have
Like
India.
what? I don't know.
No, I just had business there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've always been drawn to companies that let me go travel internationally and do things. So, and if in a cruel twist of irony, I actually bought my childhood home, and I'm living not 5 miles from where I grew up. I'm living in the
your
exact,
house. The exact
house
house.
that I grew up. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
That is.
Yeah.
Roughly kind of in what area Alpine you?
I live up against Lambert Park, so I'm right where all
Oh,
the bike
yeah,
trails are if
absolutely.
you're a biker.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do you go
it's
biking?
beautiful. I don't.
No.
No. I bought an electric bike because I'm a
Oh.
wuss. So I'm going to
That's awesome.
pretend that I bike.
Well,
No, I
hey,
don't
you
think
bike.
that-
You
I
get
don't-
up the
that's not
hill fast.
pretending, yeah.
You can get up fast, come down fast.
Exactly.
We're huge mountain bikers. We go biking.
Oh, you'd love
Yeah,
it back
all the
there.
time.
Do you
Yeah.
go back there ever and
I do.
bike?
I live,
That's
I
amazing.
just live down the road, so I live down just south of Lone Peak High School.
Uh-huh.
So that's a straight shot kind of
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
through there. But we go a lot in the.
It's a cool place
Draper
to live.
Suncrest
We have
stuff.
we have a family of bobcats that live back behind the house, so we're always seeing. We saw these bobcats grow up, and you get cougars back there. You get wild turkeys, deer, elk. It's pretty cool. Cool place to live. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've always
So
loved that
you
area.
grew up, did you stay, were you in Alpine like all throughout high school?
I pretty much grew up in Alpine from the 3rd grade on. Then I got married. Didn't live too far. I actually worked in Minnesota while living in Utah as a single mom. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
My kids would call me and they'd say, "Hey, Mom, what time are you coming home for dinner?" And I'd be like, "Remember, I'm in Minnesota
I'm in
today.
Minnesota tonight.
See you tomorrow." So, I worked lots of interesting places, but I always lived pretty close to Alpine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any college?
Uh-huh. I went to Utah State.
Aggies.
I'm an Aggie. I'm a true Aggie.
Yes, a true
No
Aggie.
less, yes. So I'm in a second marriage. My husband that I'm married to and have been married to for a long, long time, he was a quarterback of the Utah State football team,
Okay.
which is kind of cool because
Did you know him then?
I didn't know him
Okay.
then. I mean, I knew of him,
Okay.
but I was such a nerd. I was like this super nerd, intellectual person, I didn't even go to the football games. So I find it really funny that I'm actually married to a guy that
quarterback.
lives and dies for football. He's
Yeah.
still on the Utah Football Foundation, and he does the radio broadcasts for Utah State football still, and he's so into it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I had to learn to like football because
Yeah,
of
you
that.
did.
And I
This flies.
one day, and I don't like football, but one day he came home. I thought I've got to do better as a wife. I gotta learn football. So I bought this book called "Get Your Own Damn Beer: A Woman's Guide to Loving Pro Football."
There we go.
I merized like all these lines in it, and he got home from his business trip, and I'm like, "Hey, I don't know, what do you think of the TO's, and I throw out all these like stats on TO and tell him like, what do you think of that strategy?"
Did you keep a straight face?
Yeah, I was, and my husband just his jaw dropped, and he goes, "I love you so much."
That's
So I had to learn to like football.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
man. Well, so what years were you at Utah State?
I was there. It would have been probably 85.
Okay.
Yeah, 85-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
Did you?
Aggies.
Did they have a
Was-
a degree in human resources then?
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't know. I liked human resources back then.
Okay.
Nobody knows what they're going to be when they grow
No.
up, right? I was a journalism major. I
Okay.
liked writing,
Yeah.
and which is cool because I write a lot now, so it's served me well.
So you went went from kind of high school right to Utah
did.
State. 4 years, lived in Cache Valley.
Yeah,
How'd you like Cache Valley?
I love Cache Valley.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful there.
It is beautiful.
I mean, it is a hidden gem. Now I'm on the board of directors at the university, so I'm there all the time, and it's just so fun to me to go back. I mean, it just doesn't get old. The quad and the campus, and it's pretty special. I think it's one of the best universities around.
Every time I hear the word like the quad,
The
Yeah.
quad?
I always think of Old School. Have you ever seen that show?
Like
I
once.
haven't seen
Will
it. Isn't that the
Ferrell?
one
Like
with Will
once.
Ferrell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses the phrase we're going streaking through the quad while he's streaking.
Yeah. I bet you there's been some streaking at Aggie's Street,
Oh,
probably a little
Valentino's
bit.
streaking.
Yeah. No, my in-laws live in Smithfield,
Yeah.
so I've been.
Oh,
for
that's
the first
beautiful.
10 years of being married, I traveled there a dozen times a year. It was just all the time back and forth.
Yeah.
But it slowed down over the years. But I love Cache Valley.
It's
And plus, obviously, fly fishing. you know, I mean, that's just a good opportunity to go see the in-laws. I can drive up
Hidden
to,
gem.
like, you know, yeah, I can drive up into
Go
Idaho.
to
I
their
can go up
dam.
the canyon.
Mhm.
You know, I can do. There's actually
Yeah.
Paradise, that little fishing, little fish farm.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love that stuff.
That's where I took my kids when they were
Yeah,
little.
absolutely. Yeah, Reader, this place, you can like pheasant hunt in the morning, fly fish in the afternoon. I mean, there's this little stream that kind of runs through all the property, and it's just chock full of fish. It's still not necessarily super easy to catch them, but you can, and it is just, and you know, it's just cash value, and it doesn't matter where you're fishing, but it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
You're feeling left out because you don't fish, aren't you?
Yeah. I feel like I
You're
just need to
gonna-
get up. I need to leave.
It's
Just
okay.
not
I'll
be
give you a
here.
lesson. I'll take you out on the river.
I'll do
You'll
it.
learn.
I'm done. I'm in. Was your first job in HR? Like when did? Because everybody, I'm telling you, everybody is like, I fell into it.
Yeah.
HR was an accident. I didn't know I was gonna like it, but then I
Yeah.
got this job and I loved it. I was doing sales, and then I'm in HR. Like,
Yeah.
What was your first job? And then when
I
did
was a
you get into
secretary.
HR?
I was a
Okay.
secretary. I worked at Stephen Covey. I worked for Stephen Covey,
Yeah.
Okay.
right? So he was doing his book, and we had this small little company that was trying to make 7 Habits of Highly Effective People go. So I was a secretary, and I thought, that is the ultimate job. You know, that is all I ever want to be. Is this? I'm a secretary to the CEO of this company. I was so excited, and then life happened to me. So I had 3 young kids. I had no college degree, so I didn't finish. I got
Okay.
married.
Yeah.
Stupid thing.
And first husband was also an Aggie. Was he kind of?
He
He was
was.
from there, so you met him there. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, I did his homework for him. It makes me so mad when I think about it. I should have his degree. So
Right? This you
Do you
go
gr-
tell the school.
I know.
Well, you did
I'm
graduate
so mad
then.
about it.
I need an honor.
So-
You kind of graduated.
So I actually usually don't tell people that I don't have a degree, but I don't. So I found myself, my husband left me for another man. Not kidding.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting story.
Podcast episode, another episode.
Exactly.
Come back, we'll talk about that.
And I was left. I literally had 2 skills. I could type and I could talk to adults. That's about it. And I thought I got to do something to pay this house payment. I've got these kids, you know. And when you're motivated like that to put food on the table,
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you what, you will go through a brick wall. And so I ended up being in HR, going into HR at Stephen Covey's place. So the CEO gave me a job in HR, and I hustled. I just hustled and hustled and hustled, and ended up learning so much at Covey Leadership Center, and then moving on and just kind of moving up and up and up. And finally, at one point in my career, I was hired at United Health Group. It's a Fortune 50 company, and never lied on my resume, just very carefully wordsmith it, never said I graduated. They hired me, and about 6 months later, they're doing the website. They said, "Hey, we just had some questions on your education. We couldn't find anything," and I said, "Yeah, I did not get my degree," and they were like, "Oh," but at that point, I was hired. I was doing great,
Yeah,
and
you're kicking
ever
butt
since
and-
I had on my resume that I ran HR at a Fortune 50 company, nobody's ever asked again.
Yeah.
And the experience trumps the lack of
Exactly.
of education. So I don't recommend it for anybody. I tell my kids, don't do as I did, do as I say, not as I did. But that's how I got into HR. It was out of necessity to feed my kids.
Yeah.
That ended up being a fantastic career for me.
So what made you make that jump, right? So you're doing the secretary thing.
Oh,
you
pure
get
money.
offered this job. and
Pure
it's like,
money.
there's an open position that I
Yeah,
can make
there's
more money.
money.
I'm taking it.
Yeah, I got to put food on the table.
But it turned out that you loved it.
And then I loved it, and I went bigger and bigger. I can remember sitting in, that's probably 5 years ago, sitting in the boardroom at Blackstone. So you're in Manhattan, right? Top floor building. And you're sitting there, and the room is just filled with men in suits, the best VC firm in the country. And I was giving a comp committee report and leading the meeting. And I'm like, I just remember walking out and going, how the hell did this happen? Like, how did I get here? This was unintentional. This is just like defied my wildest dreams kind of thing. But, I was a single mom for almost 10 years.
So how old? Sorry, Danny.
And it took care of my family, and it was a beautiful
So
living.
you had 3 kids, and how soon? What was the age of your oldest when you had to be a single mom? I'm just kind of curious in terms of kind of put it in perspective, because it means
Yeah. Probably 8. I
Okay,
think 8.
yeah.
8 was my oldest. 8, 5, and 3 years old. And then I was like, crap. What have I done? Like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
And that was at United.
That was before United.
Oh, that was before United.
Yeah.
Okay.
That United took years of doing HR and
Yeah.
then moving up. But yeah.
So you just said something. You're in that building with them in that meeting, and you just said, "How the hell did I get here?"
Yeah.
Can you answer that question now? As you look back through your career, can you be like,
Um,
"Hey, a little bit of luck, but you know what? I just kicked ass and took names, and I
I
made it
think-
here. Like
I
I
think-
deserve to be here."
Yeah, I worked my butt off.
Yeah.
I mean, I hustled because I had to. So that certainly played a part in it. I think I picked really good companies. You know, if you look at the companies that I've been at, they've all been success stories. So Health Equity, you know, that ended up going public, was a great company. PowerQuest, that ended up being acquired by Symantec, great company. Covey Leadership Center, right? What a great place to be. United Health Group, incredible company to work for. Vivint Solar, amazing. So I think a lot of it was timing and just being able to get in and get to the right companies, a little bit of luck and a little bit of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah.
So
That's a good list. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
good companies, really
Yeah.
good companies. I consider myself
let's go back.
lucky.
Let's talk about those. So, Covey, you're doing HR. What came after that?
Let's see. Covey went to Corel.
Corel.
Do
What's
you remember Word Perfect?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nobody knows Corel anymore.
I knew
But
Corel.
Corel was huge. Corel was a company that was in Canada and the United States. And so I go from Covey to Corel, and I'm the head of recruiting, thinking I'm owning the world, right? This
Yeah.
is amazing.
What was your position when you left Covey? Sorry.
I was, I think, a recruiter. I had done benefits manager and recruiter.
Okay.
Then I move over, and I'm the recruiter at Corel / Word Perfect.
Yes.
And then
and you're in Orem.
I'm in Orem. And then they say, we're going to shut down all U.S. operations. All North American Corel. It's huge. It's thousands of employees. And so the head of HR goes, peace out, man. I'm out of here. And they're like, no, but we need you here because we're going to shut down. We need your help to shut down all U.S. operations. She's like, are you out of your mind? I'm out of here. So she accepts a job. And because there's nobody else, they say, do you want to do it, Tessa? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I'd love to. This sounds great. Not knowing that hell is going to be unleashed by trying to, shut down all these companies. So literally this is what happened. They said, and it was one of the greatest learnings of my life. They said, Tessa, we need our employees to stay here for 6 more months, the developers especially. However, we're not going to give severance, and we have no money for outplacement, but you have to keep them here.
You got to figure
Find
out
gotta
how to
a
keep
keep
them here.
them.
to keep these people here.
Yeah. So now you know why the head of HR left. And I'm like, okay. And so this is so funny. I literally said, okay, what do I have to work with? We have furniture. I had the break room. I had the, what was the gaming system? I can't even remember what it was called back then, the PlayStation equivalent. And I started bartering with employees. Joe, if you will stay with me for 2 more months, I will write into an agreement that you can have the entryway furniture plus the mini fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally kept people there by negotiating with the assets at the company. And that's how we kept people in the door, the people that we had to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, is by giving them like whatever wasn't bolted down.
Whatever
And
wasn't
sometimes
bolted.
stuff was bolted down. And I'm like, okay, we got to unbolt this, and I just negotiated that. It's going with them.
Did you have
The
like,
lights are going.
the team management behind you? Like, hey, whatever you got to do outside of giving them more money,
You know, I
do
don't
it.
remember.
Or was it just kind of like,
I
hey
just
guys, I'm
remember
giving you
not
this.
having a ton of support from Canada and them just saying, you got to find a way. We don't have the money to pay severance, but you got to find a way to keep people in the seat. And I'm like, are you crazy? These people aren't going to have jobs. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I remember that's when the Jazz was a really big team, and doing incredible. And I remember we would have parties, and have build shrines to jazz. Whoever built the tallest shrine to jazz in the parking lot. I mean, we literally, it was the scrappiest thing I've ever done to try and keep people in the seat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
That's so
Corel,
funny.
Yeah.
then things get shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, we shut down everything. Then I went to PowerQuest, which ended up getting acquired by Symantec eventually. But it was a great little company.
Yeah. And Symantec's still around.
Yeah, Symantec's a huge company.
What did PowerQuest do?
Now, PowerQuest, it was a high-tech company. I can't even remember what we did exactly, but Eric Ruff was the CEO, and that was a really interesting experience too. Learned a lot there, and I was the head of HR, so that was I would call it my first legit head of HR, build stuff from the ground up, not just try and shut something down experience. And then from there I went to United, and I was then I moved into a senior VP role at United, and that was the big break.
Big break.
Yeah.
That was the big break.
So what were you doing at United? 'Cause that's huge, like.
It's huge. So
Like,
they have divisions, and I
Yeah,
was
HR of, like-
I was the head of HR for a division
Okay.
of United Health Group.
Were you still in Utah?
Pardon?
Were you still in Utah?
But that's when the job was in Minnesota.
So you're
At
flying,
one
you're going
point,
back and forth.
at one point, the
Yeah.
job moved to Minnesota, and I had to commute basically to Minnesota. And we were doing a lot of acquisitions, so I was always on the road, always,
Yeah.
going around trying to get things done.
How often would you have to go to Minnesota? Was that taxing?
No, I loved it.
Loved it?
I loved it. I didn't like leaving my kids, but you'd take a same day flight if you had to. It really wasn't that bad.
So you're out for like a couple days and then you're back home. Mm-hmm. Pretty easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, United, that's big.
That was a big dog. I got to see
That's a huge company.
how the big boys did it.
Yeah.
It was a really great experience. And then right before I ended up leaving United, I worked for the headquarters for United, the proper, United
Yeah.
Health Group proper. And I was part of the core HR team for them.
Okay.
Instead
How long
of the
did you
division.
do
Oh, I don't know, maybe 5 years or something like that.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then United to.
United, then I took a little break. I got married.
Okay.
I got married to
Okay.
Kevin. He was the head of athletics in Ephraim, Utah, which at Snow College, which
Snow. Yeah.
that was one of those what the hell just happened to me moments. You move to Ephraim, and I'm like, yay, we're doing your dream. You're a sports, you're the guy, you're the head of the sports for the school. And then I get there, and you realize there's a Walmart in Ephraim, and that is it.
Yep.
So I would literally walk through the halls of Walmart to feel like I was at home and have any sense of like normalcy. You just had to create your own fun in Ephraim. Ended up going to school in Ephraim, which was really fun. I had 2 of my boys there, and I thought, haven't ever, let's go back to school. It's free. So I went back to school and saw my boys on the first week I was there. They're like, do not pass go, Mom. Do not act like you know us. This is like, would be the worst thing in the world.
You see us, you go to the
Yeah,
other
you
side.
go the other way. But then I became kind of a thing. Like kids, I'm going to school. This old lady's going to school with everybody. And the students liked me, and they'd come over and high-five me. And finally, and then all of a sudden my kids are like, hey, Mom, hey. Go lunch with them and their friends. And it was actually a really good couple of years. And then I went from there to Health Equity, and Health Equity to Vivint Solar.
How long were you at Health Equity?
Oh, probably about 5 years or so.
Okay. So when you started there, how big was?
Oh, they were pretty small. They were growing rapidly.
Yeah.
And I started as a consultant there, so I wasn't full time. I was commuting from Ephraim, so I would work 3.5 days a week there, and kind of built up their HR, hired Greg. We started hiring like crazy. I have such respect for that team. The whole team is amazing, and they're actually one of the best companies in Utah, a gem, because they've kept their people, and their people are amazing. From the CEO on down. So I worked there for a while, and then took some time off, took a few years off, and then went back to Vivint Solar.
And you're not a Vivint anymore.
No, I left about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And now I have my own company. They call me the job doctor.
Job doctor?
I'm the job doctor. So
Okay.
I do a lot of radio and TV, and then I help companies, small to mid-sized companies, set up their people
Yes.
infrastructure and help with engagement with employees. And then I also help individuals with career navigation, because when you watch how people's careers rise and fall, you learn a heck of a lot, right? You learn what people are doing that are making it work. And I thought, you know what? I had to do it the hard way. I didn't know what I was doing, just muddle my way through. And so now I give people help to figure out how to work it, how to make things happen for themselves, and how to ask for raises, how to get a job.
So let me ask this. Is that different? Like, what is your thought process, right? You're working for these gigantic companies, right? Your Health Equities and Vivint Solars. And then one day you're just like, you know what? I want to do my own thing. Is that hard to leave that big corporate? I mean, I'm probably a little bit more comfortable, obviously, than going out and doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is your mindset and how do you get, because I try to think to myself, like, man, what if I left my job and did my own thing? Like 2 kids, wife, house, like,
Well,
I don't know if I could do that right now.
it was hard. It was hard, but made easier by the fact, the reason I did it, we had a daughter try and commit suicide while I was at Vivint Solar. And I took some time off, and about 10 weeks, just kind of helping get the rails back on.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Vivint, and I stayed another year after that. But we just felt like for the family, it was the best thing for me to decompress and pull back. And, you know, Vivint Solar was intense. We went public within 6 months of being hired. And when I was hired, we weren't ready to go public. We didn't even know how many employees we had. We honestly didn't know how many people we were paying and how many were accurate in the system and how many weren't. And we were opening an office every like 14 days. So that was insanity. And it was a wonderful experience for me there, but they were 60-hour work weeks. You know, it was pretty crazy stuff. So for us, it just felt like the right thing to do. And I had a lot of people say, you're absolutely nuts because you've got the best position in Utah. You've got founding equity and stock in the company. You're walking away from literally millions of dollars to do this. And if you stay, like, the world is yours on a platter. But it was just the right thing for us. And for me, it just felt like chasing when do you have enough? When do you have enough money, right? You know, and we're paying our bills. We felt lucky. We have what we need in life, and I had done well there. I was there long enough to take advantage of a lot of the equity that I had. But we just said, time's finite, you know?
Right.
Time's finite. What do I care about the most? And let's do that. So
That's good. I'd say.
I've loved it. It's hard though. It's hard running your own business when you're used to, like, in a company you go in and say, let there be light, you know, and there's light.
Yeah.
And you have a whole team of people doing things. And when you're running your own company, you're like, let there be light. And then you look at yourself and you're like, damn, I got to create the light.
I got to create the light.
Yeah. So it is much harder to be my own boss, but I am just like, finally, after two and a half, 3 years of doing this, I am loving it. I am dying. I'm having so much fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's great.
So the job doctor, let's talk about that.
The job doctor.
So you're doing consulting for small, mid-size.
And then sometimes big.
Sometimes big.
Yeah.
Okay.
I if you think about it, I help companies engage their workforce, whether it's through a people strategy or helping them figure out how to create engagement with people. And I help people get engaged with the workforce and go from average to top performers. So I work both ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do they hear about you?
Oh, you're gonna.
I mean, I know obviously
Okay.
I know you have you obviously have got a lot of connections. I mean, you've worked
Yeah.
with these companies, but at the same time, it's just interesting. Like a company internally says, like, crap, we need this. Oh, I know exactly who to call. Or is it just? I mean, it just is so interesting. The consultant side, especially with your experience, and probably what kind of you demand for the jobs or the opportunities that you go into. I mean, is that just?
Well, I have a great value proposition because for a small to medium-sized company, they can't nor should they hire someone with my experience. It's too expensive, full time. But they can hire me for a fractional piece, right? A fraction of the cost, and then get their guardrails in, and then let somebody else come in, and I usually will hire who their team is and let them take it from there. So it's a great value proposition for companies, and that business has largely come I have never had to do advertising ever.
Yeah.
I get referrals all the time. But here's the funniest thing. This is the funniest thing that has happened to me. Another happy accident. My daughter said, "Hey, Mom, you really need to try TikTok." And I'm like, seriously, I can't even log into TikTok. So she puts me on TikTok a month and a half ago. month ago, and I do a little clip. And
No, hold on. Is this a clip
just
of dancing?
no,
Or no, this is like legit
that's
you
exactly
talking.
What I thought, right? I
Yeah,
thought
it's like, I don't wanna
everybody's
dance.
doing
That's what I
stupid
think.
dances or eating stupid food.
I don't want to dance.
So I decide I'm going to do
You're going to
career
talk.
advice.
Yeah, career advice.
Career
Okay.
advice. I talk. You have 1 minute clips. I went viral in 48 hours. I am not kidding you.
Really?
Yeah, I now have 75,000 followers on TikTok, and I can't contain it. I honestly can't contain it. I do clips each day, and some of them have over 1 million views. I just did one yesterday, and overnight it got 1 million views. And I am not advertising yet for my Job Doctor website, but people are finding me, and I am booked through the end of November with individuals who rent my brain and help them with career stuff and with consulting. And TikTok has been the most surprising thing, because not only am I getting business on this Rent My Brain and people just finding me without me telling them where to find me, but I'm getting calls from CEOs and heads of HR at companies who are on freaking TikTok. And
That's so crazy.
it is the weirdest thing.
Like I don't do TikTok, but I would never ever think like
Never.
I'm gonna find
I think honestly,
somebody to help me with my career on TikTok.
I think it's the front end of something that people don't realize is happening, because
They don't. Because
people,
all they know are girl
teenage
dancers.
stupid dances, right?
Yeah.
But I think that there's a huge population on TikTok that are going there instead of Instagram to get information, and there's not enough serious, helpful information, and it is just blowing up on me. I mean, TikTok barely came out with ads like a few months ago, so I think I'm on the front end of something that could be really great.
Yeah.
And it's nuts. It's actually nuts. I rebranded to this Job Doctor, and we turned on my website a month ago, and I cannot keep up with the business. I actually have had to turn off business that is coming without $1 being spent on advertising. So it
great.
probably
That's amazing.
speaks to what's happening in the world. People are losing their jobs and competing for those jobs. And so it is speaking to what people are needing. And I think companies are saying, how do I make it work in this new world? I got a lot of problems I didn't have before. Business has shifted the way it does things. How do I engage employees who are working remotely? And that's maybe my new model. So it's a little bit of a happy accident again, but
So
I'm
give us-
TikTok
Well,
famous.
I want an example of
Luck,
like
hey, one thing though, luck is when opportunity meets hard work. I learned that. I don't know. It was a quote of a basketball coach might have said that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, give yourself a lot of credit. I mean, you're engaging. I mean, we met this morning. I mean, you're beautiful. You are articulate, experienced. I mean that sets you apart. I mean, I could just, it's one of those things where, maybe there's some, like, it's funny, like, I fall into it lucky. There's a lot going on there. That,
oh yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
very nice. But
Yeah.
I'm going to give credit to my daughter. She's a brilliant marketer, and she's the one that
Yeah,
did
but then
it.
you think of, like, doing something completely different on TikTok. Well, there's probably other people
Yeah.
who do that too, but no, I'll do a minute of talking about my job. I'm not going to dance,
Yeah.
because that's funny, because that's immediately why I do not participate.
Yeah, that's literally the first thing I
But-
think is somebody doing something stupid, somebody like
Yeah,
But
That's
yeah,
what I think of
her
TikTok.
planting that idea.
it is absolutely overwhelming, but cool. My son, who lives in California, he called me, and because I hadn't had time to tell my kids what I was doing, they just knew I was, working, doing. I'm always fiddling around with something, and he goes, "Mom, my girlfriend just called me. She said you are on her For You page on TikTok. Is this true, or is there just somebody that looks like you on TikTok?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I'm on TikTok now." And he's like, "Mom, you've gone viral. Like, I'm getting calls from my friends." So it's
That's
kind of a
pretty
weird
awesome.
thing.
that's
It's a
amazing.
weird
How many kids now do you have?
I have 6. I have 3 of my own.
Yeah.
And 3 that I inherited when
Oh,
I
okay.
blended.
And you said your husband is Kevin?
Kevin. So we
Okay.
have 6 kids together, and I consider his kids my kids. I mean, they're great kids.
Give me an example, like a 30-second, like what you would talk about on TikTok.
On TikTok?
Yeah, like what's
Okay, the one that I did yesterday that went viral, I said, look, if you're interviewing for a job, do not end on a low note. The low note
Okay, I
is...
saw this.
Did you see this?
Not on TikTok. I
No,
just thought
okay.
you posted on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't end on a low note. People end with the question, hey, when they say, do you have any questions for me? People say, oh, yeah, can you tell me when you're going to make a decision on this? Or, what does the job pay? That is ridiculous. You should end on a high note by saying, yeah, my question for you is, tell me about the things that need to be done in the next 3 or 6 months that would absolutely knock it out of the park. Or tell me about the things that are keeping you up at night and what needs to be done in this department. Then you listen, and then you come back and you actually have one more opportunity to say, oh, that's your problem? Here's what I can do to help you. And you leave them on the high note. But I'd say 9 out of 10 people leave on a low note by saying, oh, when are you going to make a decision on the job?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Viral.
would be, so that would be one of many, TikTok pieces of advice for people.
That's awesome. I'm getting on TikTok.
I know, dude. Hold on. Well, some opportunities there. I'm sure we can go on TikTok. We probably wouldn't be as great.
No.
You'd be amazing.
We'd never be.
I think TikTok's very forgiving.
Yeah, that's probably
Do
true.
they have filters
Thankfully.
for like ugly dudes that just like?
Oh, they got filters.
know.
I don't know how to use them, but they got
They
filters.
got 'em.
Yeah.
They got 'em.
I'm speaking of myself, Danny. You're not ugly. I think you're very good looking.
I don't think that you
Just
are
saying.
ugly.
I might need a little one of those. What do they do? Like cat? Like I would never do a cat face thing, but they got to have something to, make me look better.
I think they have a lot of filters.
I think you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TikTok. Who knew?
Isn't that nuts?
So what's going to happen if TikTok gets shut down?
You got.
Well-
Well, they have Instagram Reels.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I think, kind of a competitor thing. I mean, it's kind of like the same
Yeah.
idea, but
I am, what I'm doing right now is doing longer versions of my TikToks that are getting edited and on a YouTube channel so
Okay.
that I can monetize it.
yes, absolutely.
And so people right now are going to my YouTube channel, which only has, maybe 5 clips on it right now, but it'll have 10, 15 in another week. And so I can give more meaningful training there.
Yeah.
So the idea is mitigate against TikTok by having YouTube. You can monetize either one of them.
Yeah.
They both act as great lead magnets, and then try and get them to the website.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the YouTube or you doing long form videos is if you know beforehand how to segment them out. Because like, for example, Facebook, right? I don't think you can monetize videos like under 3 minutes or there's like kind of some weird rules like that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people do the short form, like they know how to segment out their long form interviews or videos.
Yeah.
Because then again, TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook, then you can monetize it all, but it makes sense. One little segment is a thought. And you don't leave them hanging.
Exactly.
Right?
We do a
Yeah.
7-minute segment on YouTube. We slice it up into 10 TikToks and 3 LinkedIns and,
Yeah,
try and reuse the content. But again, like I am not an expert in this. I do not know
Yeah, who's
what I
doing
am
this?
doing. I am just trial and error. At night, you're going to see me on my iPad looking at, I'm Googling, how do you do YouTube? How do you make money off YouTube? How do you do this? And I'm trying to hire some video experts, and I've got VidArmy helping me with videos and things. So
Yeah, I know those
I'm
guys.
literally just learning as I go. I know nothing, and I'm just going. The beautiful thing about being at my age and not needing the paycheck is that you take risks that you would not when you're
Right.
younger. You can afford to just go, I'm going to roll the dice on this one and see what happens.
See where it goes.
And I have plenty of failures too, but then you stumble onto some magic and you're like, I never would have done that. I never would have done that if I weren't in the position I'm at right now.
Yeah. Do you use the LinkedIn stories now that they have? Have you done any of those?
I don't even know what that is. So that would be a no.
Okay.
I
It's
have
like Instagram, right?
I
You
do
do your
a
post,
lot-
but they have like the stories up top that you can.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Now I need to look into that. Great.
Sorry.
Now,
There's something,
great
there's
things.
something
No,
else.
I-
to
and
do.
I have
That's
a
just going to
really
be up late again.
I have a really big LinkedIn following, but I write differently. I write for kind of more professional stuff where TikTok's a little more
Yes.
organic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dang. Learning today.
Yeah. Yeah. The first LinkedIn story that I saw, because I heard that they were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's probably going to be stupid. And the first one that I saw is some dude with his shirt off. He's like filming himself at like some waterfall, like, just rest and relax. And I'm just like,
Oh my
dude, this is not the
gosh.
play. Like,
No.
and then from there, I haven't looked at a single one since because it just put me in
No.
a bad mood.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look into
So
that.
no shirts off on the.
No
LinkedIn.
shirts off.
Wow.
Note to self. All right, I will not
Yeah.
take my shirt off.
Note to self. Could you narrow down, like, what has been your favorite company so far to work with? Could you pick one?
Yeah, absolutely. Vivint Solar.
Vivint Solar.
Vivint Solar was the hardest company and the greatest company. It ruined me as an HR person for the rest of my life. Like, I can never go back and work for a normal, like, button-down company ever again. Vivint Solar was like a runaway freight train in terms of HR. You know, we had calls day and night. We had people. I can't tell you the things that we did. I can't. They were so bad. I cannot even tell you the HR issues that we dealt with.
So maybe offline.
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
If you could dream it, it was happening at Vivint Solar. Imagine hiring a bunch of bros that are. Imagine hiring thousands of bros, putting them in different states,
Little offices
in
different
houses
states.
together,
Yeah.
and growing as fast as we are, so without a lot of oversight. And you
Yeah.
can just imagine the stuff we were dealing with. So what I learned at Vivint Solar, which has been really useful, Vivint Solar would write on a napkin, somebody would write on a napkin like a comp plan at lunch, and they would implement it like 4 days later. And I was like, what is happening? This is not how we do things. And it actually took me 2 years to really adjust. I was not my best HR person for Vivint Solar the first 2 years because I was steeped in normal HR, like how normal companies do it.
Yeah.
And especially coming from a Fortune 50 company where you're buttoned down. Vivint Solar ran fast and loose, but what I learned was that you can actually get a ton done in a company if you're less concerned about what the shoulds and the shouldn'ts, and you actually question those, you know, and you say, instead of saying, why would I do that? You say, why not? Why not do that?
Right.
And I learned to be much more experimental, and I learned to, it was like an experimental test lab, and I got to try all kinds of crazy crap over there, and some of it worked and some didn't. But like we didn't have any money for more recruiters, and we had to hire like more salespeople. It was like go as fast as you can, and so I hired.
Well, a lot of like the bros that you talk about, like they get their buddies, right? So isn't it kind of like they have their
Yeah,
own little
yeah, they do a lot of that too,
recruiting-
but we needed more than they were
Okay.
able to do. And so I hired a guy that was like, he wasn't a recruiter. He actually is a guy that made people Instagram famous. And that's who was my head of recruiting. And we started doing these like clips to try and go viral. And we made every employee a recruiter and would have these contests and, you know, give away a trip to Hawaii for the person who hired the most people. And, you know, we turned every employee into a recruiter. So we did things really differently. You know, I can remember telling my CEO, yeah, I'm going to hire a guy who has no recruiting experience to be the head of sales recruiting. And we're just going to try all this crazy stuff. But was the value of Vivint Solar.
Yeah.
Like, I think I bring so much more creativity to bear than I ever could have or would have had I stayed in these button-down companies.
Why was it so wild there? Because you had Vivint, right, to begin
Yeah.
with, and then Vivint Solar started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was there no connection there to say, hey, this is how we've been doing things, or were they the exact same way?
Well, it was a totally separate company, but the DNA traveled from
Right.
Todd,
That's what I mean.
who
Like,
was the
was it
guy
like-
that started Vivint over, and his DNA is very much. I don't
Probably
care
the
how
same.
I don't care how we get it done,
Just get it done. Do
Get
it as
it
fast
done.
as possible.
right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, the DNA carried over, and some of the people that were hardest for me to work with, I owe the most to because they really forced me. They would say that, like, why? Why can't I do that? What is the risk? What is the sky going to fall if I don't do that? And it really forced me to think outside the box, you know? So
Yeah.
that company was the most taxing by far and the greatest learning,
Yeah.
you know, which is often how life works. So,
Did you put it in a stable place, you think?
yeah.
Like, did you get it to where it's like, okay,
Oh, yeah,
we know
I'm proud-
when this situation arises,
Yeah.
this is what we
I'm
should
really
probably
proud of
do.
what we did there. And it wasn't just me. There was a lot of people with nerves of steel that came in, and we built an HR group together. And there's a lot of really cool things that are still in place that we did that I'm so proud of. That were things other people and other companies, and even me and an old version of me would have said, no, you can't do that. That's impossible. You know?
Yeah.
And we were able to build something that was different.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite thing about the HR profession?
Well, man.
Or one of.
It's hard. I don't like HR in any company. They say that people are their most important asset, and that generally doesn't translate. And HR is usually the bottom of the totem pole in terms of an executive team. Mm-hmm. So I think it was always hard. I was always the only woman in the room on an executive team. And that's part of being in Utah, and that's just an unfortunate part we got to change. But being the only woman in the room in the organization that gets the least amount of love is also very difficult.
Right.
Now, the pandemic has changed some of that. I mean, for the first time in my career, people care about HR a lot now because, you know, we have had to be more mindful of the people that work for us, and it's kind of turned into humane capital, you know, not just human capital. And so I don't think businesses would have succeeded without the help of HR with what do we do when people are sick? What do we do on leave? How do we address remote work? So
they realized that they had a bad team. It was not as smooth. They weren't doing it.
Yeah. So I see HR getting the love a lot more now, which is great. It should. But that was always the hardest part, I think.
Yeah.
Both being a woman and being in HR. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing?
Favorite thing about HR?
Can I use HR? Greg told me how to use like people.
Yeah,
I got in trouble.
I know people.
Team
They're
members
big on people.
and team members.
Team members,
yes.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean to offend.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
human
if I
capital
do.
sounds like you're like cattle guard, right?
Yeah.
It's a little different. My favorite part, it's probably, I don't know. It's probably just watching you make a difference for a person in their life. You know, there have been people who were committing suicide, for instance, and you were able to intervene and get them the help that they needed and see that they're okay.
Yeah.
So that's been good. There have been people that I've laid off, but watch them then take that experience and rise up and do incredible things with their life, or watch somebody just kind of struggle through, a single mom struggle through, you know, trying to put food on the table for her child, and then you see them, help them get promoted and watch them kind of rise up. So watching people be good to each other and watching people reach out. At Vivint Solar, we had one of our executives, he was on top of a mountain in Idaho, the Tetons, I think, and he was a couple steps down, fell, and just his head blew, like cracked open. And there was like no cell coverage, and he had massive brain trauma, massive spinal injury trauma, and like his brother was literally holding his head together while they tried to get help. And watching how people rallied to help him, and he's a guy who should have died, shouldn't be here today, and he certainly shouldn't be here without brain damage. And he is an incredible human being. And watching how people rallied around him and the money they raised for his family and the way they helped him come back to work, those are the things that when you have a front row seat, make this profession worth it.
Yeah.
You know, you see the best rewarding. Of people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. From all of your career experiences, is there one, this might be a tough thing to answer, like one question or one issue that has come across the table that is most prevalent? Meaning like HR, somebody's coming to you. I had this question the other day with Greg, but I'm just wondering if somebody comes to you and it's like, one of the most common issues is
Yeah, for sure.
so-and-so
I know what it
has
is. I
terrible
totally
body
know.
odor, or I have been sexual harassed by John a million times.
Here's what you get every time. A manager comes in and they go, I got to let go of so-and-so. And I say, do they know it's coming? And they say, oh, yeah, they know it's coming. And here's what I know for sure. They do not know it's coming. 100% for sure. People are not good with conflict. And if there's one thing I could change about to help workforces, people, everybody do better, it would be to address problems head on and quicker. I will tell managers that come to me and want to do that. I'll say, well, I don't think they know it's coming. Have you used the F word? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I said, the fire word. Have you actually sat down with someone and said, if you can't fix these things, your employment's going to end? Have you done that? Because if you haven't had the level of conversation that really generates in someone, oh crap, let's start working together on this. And so that is the thing that it just drives me nuts. Nobody sees it coming, and when they're fired, and it shouldn't be that way. In a perfect world, you would know if you have a problem. You would know the minute you're not doing what you need to.
Yeah.
And you would work with your manager together to solve it, and you would be having honest conversations all the way along the way, but we just simply don't like to do that. And so we think we've been clear, when in fact your conversation with someone was, hey, I just need you got to do better. Like, I think you're missing the mark. That's their conversation of, yeah, they know it's coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
You're saying that, and I'm thinking back, wondering if
you've had those
yeah,
conversations.
well, just like,
you
hey,
either
I better,
had it or you're guilty.
I don't
of
mind
doing
the
it.
conflict. I'm just wondering how, the times I've maybe failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to help people and leaders. I go into companies and teach them how to have those conversations in a way that's non-emotional, that just drives to what the actual problem is. Because I'm a big believer. I don't call it a PIP. I call it a get well plan. I think people should get well plan. To me insinuates that we're in it together, and that there can be a positive ending to this thing. So that's what I like to prescribe.
I like it. Job doctor. So you're booked out, right? Mm-hmm. Do you just have what if somebody just comes and says, hey, I want help with my resume?
Yeah.
Are you doing that? You're kind of like from A to Z, I'm going to help. Whatever your need is, I'm going to help you.
I call it rent my brain. So you can go online and you can rent my brain, and you can do one session is $199, or you can do 4 sessions for $749, and you can keep me on your speed dial and just have me on retainer for I think it's $3,500 a month, and basically you just say what do you need from me, and then I help you through. People that do 4 sessions, I'm helping them with a strategy to get a job usually, and we're not only getting their resume right, but we're getting their interview right,
so
and I'm making connections for them, and then I help them negotiate their pay, so they can maximize and get more.
Yeah.
So they know what to ask for. They know what they can negotiate.
Yeah.
So that's most often what people hire me for. But sometimes they'll call and say, I've been sexually harassed. I don't know how to deal with this without getting fired. How do I navigate this? That would be a question I get.
Yeah. And
companies will hire me to rent my brain too if they don't want an HR person or a big assignment, but they're like, we have to do a riff and we don't have a clue how we're going to do this. Or I've got this really hairy situation. We paid a sign-on bonus and I don't know. We have to fire them. How do I work through this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You're a rock star.
Yeah. All right. Give us a 30-second ending TikTok. What do you got? what does the jobs doctor have to say for
a 30-second TikTok?
ending?
I will tell you this because this is on my mind because I'm actually writing a book right now, and one of the chapters is never be more loyal to a company than it can be to you. And if there was one piece of advice I would give anybody, it is that. I think we sometimes make the mistake of thinking that companies are people and we treat them with the same loyalty that we would with a relationship. And you have to keep in check what a company is and what a company isn't. And so I am not suggesting that you don't work really, really hard, because I believe in hustle more than anybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes the tables turn and we give too much. We give too much of ourselves. And you just have to remember to never be more loyal to a company than it can be back.
You can be loyal to a fault, right?
Yeah.
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 I love it.
And that's especially important in the pandemic and with how hard people are working and how imbalanced they're feeling.
Yeah. Good. I love it. That's a good
That's
ending
great.
right there. Okay. Well, thank you. We're not done. We're just moving on to something different.
Oh,
now.
no.
The ending. We're going to end on a high note.
Yeah. Not the
Yeah, we'll end on a high note.
Yeah.
So far,
short high note.
not super hard questions. I'm glad that you haven't stumped me too bad yet.
Oh, I don't think I
this
could.
is good. Yeah.
I don't think I could. I mean, these might stump you.
Yes.
We'll see. Okay, so I have 3 songs. I'm gonna do the lyrics,
Yes.
and you just have to tell me who it is and what the song is.
Okay.
Easy.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm so excited.
He doesn't sing.
This is so great.
Yeah, I'm not singing.
That's okay.
'Cause that's-
It
makes
would be
it-
better
what
if you
makes it
sang.
better.
I think it would be worse for everybody, all parties. Okay, first one. This might be a softball. And I would do
Is this giving us a rough?
1993.
Ooh.
Okay, so the early night.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
A little past the 80s, which is the golden era
That's
of
right.
music.
Yeah.
Okay, and I would do anything for love. I'd run right into hell and back.
Oh,
I would do anything
for
love.
love.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
You
Okay,
know it.
That's a
easy.
softball.
Softball. Okay,
But
Next
I won't
one.
do that.
but I won't.
I won't do that.
I will not do that.
That's a good one.
What do you think that song means? What is he talking about? I'd do anything, but what do you think he's talking about?
I would do anything.
What
for
is he
love.
not gonna do?
Dude, I have no idea. I've never understood those lyrics, but maybe I haven't read them all the way through.
Do anything for love, but not that.
Maybe you have to watch the video. Dude, that video. You remember the video?
Well, he's like a gargoyle or something, isn't he? Like dressed like a.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
weird.
it's pretty
It was
crazy.
weird.
It was weird. Wasn't Meatloaf in Fight Club?
He was in
He
Fight Club.
totally was.
He was.
You're right.
Robert Paulson. Do you remember that?
That was a good show.
Say
by the
his
way.
name, Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
If you,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was his name in Fight Club.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a good
Remember, he makes him cry into his man boobs.
Yes.
He goes away, it's like a happy face.
Yes.
Tears. Yeah. Okay.
Classic.
All right. In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep. From the mountains of faith to the river so deep, I must be looking for
Billy
something,
Joel.
something sacred I lost. But the
River
river
love,
is
river love.
wide, and it's
Sing
too
it,
hard
sing
to
it.
cross.
Sing it.
In the middle of the I go walking in the
See, oh my gosh.
in the middle of the night.
Okay.
In the middle of the
I go
night.
walking in the
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
River of Dreams, Billy Joel. All right.
Man, when you read the lyrics,
I know it's hard.
I kind of picture that's the speed of the song as well. I just can't speed it
that's-
up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Billy Joel.
I'm going to be really excited if you get this one.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. How you doing, baby? No, not you. You, the bow-legged one. Yeah. What's your name? Damn, that sounds sexy. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go again. Girls, what's my weakness? Men.
Men.
Okay then. Chillin'. Minding my business. Yo, Salt. I looked around and I couldn't believe this. I swear I stared my niece,
To rap.
my
Yeah,
witness. The brother had it going on with something kind of wicked. Wicked, had to kick it. I'm not shy, so
Brilliant
I asked
lyrics.
for the digits.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say I don't
My
know.
weakness, man.
But I
okay
yeah.
then. Chillin'.
But I can hear the song in my head.
Here I go again.
Who sings
Salt and pepper.
it? Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper. Shoop.
Shoop.
Shoop. Shoop.
Yes.
So who's your favorite artist? Modern artist.
I don't know if I can narrow that down.
I know it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah, I don't know.
You
I
don't
love.
have a favorite?
I don't know if I have. I love music. I
I
just
do
don't know if
too.
I have a favorite.
What's
that I
your
could-
favorite?
Probably Billie Eilish. I love Billie Eilish.
She has
Like
an
you're talking like
amazing
most
voice.
recent artist.
Like if I had to pick somebody like today.
Today?
Yeah.
Today. I really
Her voice
like
was
Billie
incredible.
Eilish.
John
Yeah.
Bellion.
Who is it?
John Bellion.
What is it? What I never know. Who is this man?
Dude, I'm telling you,
He's got good stuff.
he cusses, so it's tough because my kids introduced me to John Bellion, and I think, why in the hell are you listening to that? And it's not bad. It's just,
I'm
little
gonna go
little
listen.
things here and there. Dude, he is,
Huh.
I think he's the most talented guy
I'm gonna
around
listen to
right
him
now.
on my ride
I
home.
don't know.
I think he's the
There's
most
a-
talented
John
guy.
Belliam.
Bellion with
Bellion.
an N.
A
Bellion.
lot of good music.
Okay, John Bellion.
Right now.
I'm gonna listen to that.
I
That's
couldn't
good.
narrow it. That's too
You've
hard.
got to pick one. It's the
can't.
rule.
Well, what's your favorite of all time? This is your favorite.
You know what?
since you've been a
My
kid.
favorite, like all throughout high school, was a group called Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Make me a
sense.
Sunday.
You like the ones no one really knows.
Everybody had a lot of
Did
people
everybody know
them.
that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
Taking Back Sunday?
like my era, like in high school, was kind of like kind of the punk.
Kind of, yeah, indie /
And-
punkish. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, they like.
Taking
I
Back
remember
Sunday.
going down to Vegas for a basketball tournament, and I went into a CD store. I think it was like Virgin CD
Yeah,
store
yeah.
when they existed,
You buy their CD.
and it said on the title, it said, "If you like this group and this group, then you're gonna like Taking Back Sunday." So I bought it and loved it.
And you loved them. That's fantastic.
I don't listen to them a lot anymore, but
Very cool.
that was one of them. Okay. So the last piece here, we have some would you rather questions.
Okay.
And
I'm
the
prepared.
only rule
Yeah.
is that you have to answer it. You got to pick one or the other.
Simple rule.
Simple rule. We ask one
Yes.
every time.
I always ask the first. And it's a would you rather Tiger Woods takes his driver right in a full driver swing right to your shin? Okay.
Be good. Okay.
Or Barry Bonds, which was back in the day. I'm talking
yeah.
steroid era, Barry Bonds.
Steroid.
You
Yep.
need to go home and ask your husband this question.
No. Yeah, I am going to ask
I would
him.
like to, get back to what Kevin thinks. Barry Bonds' home run swing right to the middle of your back.
Oh.
So Tiger Woods, we're talking titanium driver, club
Yeah.
head speed of 200 miles an hour, right to your shin.
I'm going to take the shin. I'm going to take the shin.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
going
about
to
it's
shin
about-
shot.
It's got to be 75-25
That's
for
hard.
the shin versus the back.
Yeah.
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 Only because backs are so hard to heal if you
Yeah.
jack them up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or in the ultimate argument is you could be paralyzed.
Totally.
You can have a fake leg. They might have to replace your leg, but you'll be paralyzed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good one.
Would you rather be abducted by aliens or be a zombie that never dies?
I would rather be abducted by aliens. Easy.
That was easy.
Easy.
Have you guys studied Skinwalker Ranch?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Have
I
you
gotta
studied
talk to
Skinwalker
Brandon.
Ranch?
I
I
have
gotta
not
talk to
studied.
Brandon
Well, I guess I
Fugel.
haven't studied it. I
You
know
gotta,
about
you guys
it.
get Brandon Fugel on here.
Okay.
He owns Skinwalker Ranch now, so he's the Utah guy.
Yes.
Commercial real estate.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah,
the
my-
show,
yeah, okay.
they just filmed a bunch, but I have been obsessed with Skinwalker Ranch, and it's all about like aliens and weird
It is,
energy
dude.
and stuff. And
Some weird stuff going
I-
on in Skinwalker
There's
Ranch.
tons of weird stuff.
Joe
going on.
Rogan talked about Skinwalker Ranch a lot.
Yeah, it's legit. So they think there's some
Post
kind
Malone
of power.
talks about Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, I want
When
to
he
go on the
interviewed Post
aliens.
Malone.
I want to go on the
Yeah.
aliens ship. I want to see what goes down.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell you a quick story about aliens?
Absolutely.
It's an alien movie.
Were you
When I was in high
were
school.
you abducted
No.
and probed?
No, but when I was in high school, me and my friend decided we were going to stand by the vending machine at lunchtime every day. And every time someone put in some money and they'd get like a little candy bar, they always get like a nickel or dime back, right?
Dude, I used to do that every day in middle school.
We would stand, he would be on the one side, I'd be on the other side, and we would just politely ask, hey, you going to keep that change? You know, can I have your change? We ended up getting like $30 in 1 week. We went to like, me and then all my buddies, we went to Sizzler, all you can eat shrimp, and then we went to the
Brilliant.
movie Fire in the Sky about Snowflake, Arizona alien abductions.
Oh my gosh, brilliant!
Real story, true story. The guy that literally disappeared, alien abduction, comes
Snowflake
back.
in the sky.
Fire in the sky.
Fire in the sky.
Fire in the sky.
Oh, I'm gonna add that to
Snowflake,
my
Arizona.
watching pleasure.
Yes,
so funny.
it's
Excellent.
probably 94.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, we
Good
could
change.
We really knew we could have made a lot of money on that, but then we kind of felt,
Dude,
I don't know.
me and my buddy Tommy Giles used to do the
Taking
exact
money.
same thing.
Did you really? You
Yeah.
just get
7th grade. It was like 7th grade, 8th
no
grade.
way.
You
It adds
you gonna
up.
keep that change?
You're gonna keep that.
Well, it's only
See,
because everybody thinks
it's
in their
only
head
a
like,
nickel.
oh, nickel dime, sure, here you go.
This
I
is
don't
the
care.
difference between men and women. I'm trying to get money at that age. You guys are just like, what's the fastest way to get to it? You're like,
Just
ask
ask
people,
for it.
right?
Yeah.
I did singing telegrams. I sold singing telegrams, and we'd go do. I dress up in a chicken suit and go do singing telegrams for $25 each. You know, you'll show up at BYU and
That's funny.
do singing telegrams.
And then, is there an alien portion to your story?
No, but
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that we did take the money and go to the movie and
Yeah,
eat
yeah.
Yeah.
copious amounts of food.
Sorry, totally. I digress. That was
No, that's good. That's good. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Would you rather be covered in fur or covered in scales?
Well, fur probably, because I am cold all the time.
Okay.
All the time.
And it's not like you're going to be like you can't breathe underwater or anything. It's just
Yeah.
either you have fur or you have scales.
Yeah.
Scales.
Scales sound
Yeah,
cold.
I'm
and
surprised
fur
you didn't,
sounds warm.
you
Sounds
didn't
weird.
pick scales
I
since you
know.
love fishing.
I love fish.
You know what I
but
think of is a tarpon.
yeah,
Tarpon, dude.
Yeah.
They're like bulletproof.
they are.
They got scales.
Scales,
Scaly. They got
scales,
the big.
scales just sound cold.
They sound reptile-ish.
And I don't like being cold.
Okay. Is there a restaurant or, actually a restaurant that you just hate, that you will never step foot in?
Uh-huh.
Can you name
Chuck-a-rama.
it? Chuck-a-rama.
Chuck-a-rama. My husband thinks that the more food that you can get for your dollar is better.
It's better.
And I'm like, dude, that is not the case. Like, just because you like pay $5 for a haircut, it was probably a $2 haircut. Like, just because you get lots for little is
mean
not good.
Chuck-a-rama is the lowest.
Buffets are the lowest common denominator. I mean, the lowest.
Okay.
So, that would be a big fat
I've
no-go.
always-
And I'm a foodie. I like really good restaurants.
Yeah.
So we end up, we have debates constantly.
I've always called it up
Do
chuck.
you have to give in and do Chuck-a-rama nights?
Never.
Okay.
Oh, well, I went once. And on the way out, I'm like, I feel like I have to take a shower now. And he's like, I can't believe you said that. You are so mean.
But they have the scones.
It's like you're so uppity. And I'm like, no, I just.
Dude, my dad,
do
we
it.
would go there on
Can't do it.
Sundays sometimes, out at Fashion Place.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, but they had this concrete kind of wall that would go up into the garden. And as a little kid, every time we get there, my dad would tell, hey, if you can run up that with not using your hands, I'll give you a quarter at Fashion Place Mall. I don't know. Side note, I just remember that
Wow.
every time we'd go to Chuck-a-rama
Chuck-a-rama.
on a Sunday. Okay, so would you rather live the plot of Groundhog Day? I mean, like Groundhog Day, right? Current
over
life,
and over.
but just
Mhm.
over and over, or have to have every meal at Chuck-a-rama.
Oh, my gosh.
But you don't have to, right? You're eating there every day, but you still get to go do.
I would have to do the Chuck-a-rama, and I hate Chuck-a-rama.
You can find something there.
Yeah, I would do like salad
Salad.
one day,
Salad,
maybe
apple
mashed
beer,
potatoes
ice cream.
one day. I don't know. There's no way I could live every day over again. I get bored. No.
Okay.
Unless it was the day I caught that big fish, then it would be good. Right.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Even
can
that
pick the
even
day?
Might be.
Or is this random? It's just like,
I'll say you can pick it,
that might
but
change
that might. I
things.
don't know. Like every
Get
day,
old.
it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Every day.
So
Take
you're
all
gonna
the
go.
joy out of it.
I mean, you're obviously gonna know.
It'd
right?
take
It's
the
like,
joy out of it, right?
You can't just
Yeah.
fish again. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
This sucks. Okay. Would you rather every shirt that you wear be itchy, or only be able to use one-ply toilet paper?
Oh, those are horrible. Both are so horrible.
One ply.
I have to go with I have to go with the shirt. I'm a.
Can't be doing this all day. Just
Oh yeah, I can't be doing that. I gotta have soft things. It's gotta feel good. I could make one ply work with enough toilet paper.
That might be another.
You could
just
craft
kind of dude
five
thing.
ply if you had to out of a one ply.
Would you rather have to wear your wedding dress every single day, or wear a bathing suit every single day?
Definitely the wedding dress. There is no
Okay.
way. I don't even get it.
And I'm gonna say,
Oh, poo. Too
Okay,
old for that crap.
all right.
Not even, there's-
Too old for that
was
crap.
That was a quick answer.
Yeah.
Even more explanation on the bathing suit. Not
Yeah.
gonna change that.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Would you rather be a mini golf champion or a curling champion?
Ooh. I think curling. Curling.
Would you be the pusher or would you be the sweeper?
I'd want to be the pusher.
Pusher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Get it down
sport.
There's no gold medals in
It's
putt-putt.
Yeah, there's exactly.
I'd take curling.
Curling for sure. Curling will
you-
rise again.
Do you,
It's my new motto.
do you consider cornhole a sport?
No, and why is
Okay.
ESPN showing it during
you.
the
Hold on, why does it-
pandemic? Come
You're
on.
throwing an object with your arm into a hole. What's the difference between hitting a little ball with a stick into a hole
So much
and you're
harder.
throwing.
You've played golf, you know.
I know it's harder.
It's
I'm
way
just saying,
harder.
I don't know.
I am so
Takes
disappointed
much
that
more
ESPN could only find cornhole during the
Well, they
pandemic.
put cornhole on, but they also put poker on.
Well,
poker's not a
poker I can get
sport.
behind, but cornhole? Cornhole?
I get it. Okay. Would you rather vomit uncontrollably for 1 minute every time you hear the happy birthday song,
No.
or you get a headache that lasts for the rest of the day every time you every time you see a bird, including pictures or video?
What?
What kind of question is
Why
that?
would you say?
What kind of question
You
is
see
that?
a bird?
I
See a
guess
bird,
the,
it's like headache.
Well,
rest
you
of the
just
day.
close your eyes. I don't want to look at birds.
I guess I'll take the second because I don't want to be
You can
puking.
avoid that. Well, hold on. You at a
Puking.
birthday party, you say, "Hold on, I got to run out of the room."
That's
But
true.
or
You could
there's no
manage it.
avoiding it. So this is
Hopefully.
like you just can't avoid the birthday.
I would do about anything to avoid vomiting.
Okay. Me too. I mean, they both suck.
Yeah,
Headaches
for
are awful,
sure.
but I don't know. Okay. Would you rather never be able to leave the state? Okay, so you're in Utah for the rest of your life, or when you travel, it's only by car and or boat.
Oh,
Yeah, I could do that.
yeah.
I could do that.
Still travel?
Oh yeah.
It's like, I'm going over to Europe.
I like road trips.
Yeah, and then
road
you're like,
trips
well, at least
rock.
now it's going to take
Boats,
a month
great.
to go to Europe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm
okay.
in.
Would you rather have 50 kids or no kids?
0. I'll take 0. I wanted 6 kids when I was young and stupid.
Well, hold on.
And then I had
Explain
one,
that.
and I wanted.
How long
2.
does it take to get 50? Like a normal life? Like you're talking normal life 50 kids. So you're having babies till like you're 70?
No, I mean, maybe not normal life. Maybe it's like
Because there's someone else involved here, and
I
it's a lot
go,
harder
you know,
than my decision.
Ooh.
I adopt 10.
It's
and then I adopt 10,
admittedly
and I have 5 and I adopt,
Like, if you're the woman in this scenario,
Yeah.
you are not having 50
No
kids.
way in
Like
hell.
you could put almost anything in the other question, and I would have to pick it.
What if you had like quadruplets 10 times?
Yeah.
No,
No way.
no way. Not happening.
But then you don't have any kids. But you got your nieces and nephews.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by the most annoying people?
Oh my gosh.
See, this is a good one. You should say, picture the most annoying person
Right,
you
I
can.
just gotta set that
Right,
one up.
set
Oh
that
my
one up.
gosh.
set that one up.
I might have to go with the alone thing. Just have imaginary friends or
Just
something.
Tessa,
But
and all,
guess
Tessa
what?
and all the bros.
I think,
mean, either one's
with
hard.
your HR profession, you could fix those people.
Fix the annoying people.
Job doctor could fix the annoying people, coach them up,
Just make it a lifetime quest.
become a
to-
little more
It's a
self-aware.
good point.
the annoying doctor.
Good point.
The annoying people fixer.
Yeah,
Doctor.
right.
that's a good point.
Okay. Would you rather eat an egg with a half-formed chicken inside or a cooked tarantula?
So it's raw. The egg's raw, half cooked.
Well, I mean, you're going to open it, you're going to cook it like you would, but there's
So you're gonna scramble that thing up.
a half-formed chicken in there, yeah.
I guess I'd go with the tarantula.
Tarantula.
Yeah, if it's crispy. I mean, is it deep fried?
However you want to cook it.
If it's deep fried, I'll go with the
I
tarantula.
saw this video. Yeah, you gotta look for this video. I don't even know where it came from. There's a video of these people, a third world country, a bowl of tarantulas.
I've seen
Live.
this.
Have you seen that?
I've seen this
Where they're
video.
live
They're
and
dead?
then they
Oh.
they put the stuff on them.
Uh-huh. I've seen
deep
this.
fry them and they get their
And eat
like
it.
chopsticks, pick it up and just.
Yep.
It is.
It's creepy.
I'm not a big spider guy,
I know.
and it gives me the.
Gives me the
gives
willies
me
too.
the jeeves.
I think
Yeah.
I'd take the egg.
Ugh.
If I can scramble it up.
Okay, last one. Would you rather be a reverse centaur, right? So you're having a horse head and a human body, or a reverse mermaid, which is like you're going to have basically fish head
With
and human
legs.
body.
With
Yeah.
legs. Oh, yeah. Let's go that one. I like fish.
fish?
Fish are
Yeah.
my friends.
When they- yeah.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, and then we can
I'm
just.
not, I think fish are beautiful.
I think that would be cool too.
Yeah.
So you're talking. I just have a horse head and 2 legs.
Yeah.
Reverse centaur.
Yeah. Some hooves.
Yeah, do fish for sure.
For sure.
Going fish.
Yeah.
Maybe you could swim forever.
Yeah,
Yeah. Awesome.
I like that.
Cool.
That's it.
Thanks.
Thanks for being on.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks
It was
for having
awesome.
me.
You were great.
That was really fun.
Okay.
And cut.